Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. So, admittedly, I'm not the target audience for this movie or the game that it's based on. But, you know who was the target audience for this at the time? My then 5-year-old son. That's right. Right, this came out in 2016. Yep, 5-year-old son. When this was released on streaming, he really wanted to watch it, so we did. And I thought it was okay for what it was. Keep in mind, this is 2016. This is before I started reviewing movies. This is before I realized my true calling as one who reviews movies. Right? Yeah, what is this movie? I will tell you, it's not completely terrible as what people say. But it does have issues. And those issues aren't just something that you come across. They are apparent from the very beginning of this movie, because the opening is one of those stereotypical openings where someone's late at something, but then the joke they have at the end of this doesn't make any sense. This whole scene doesn't make any sense. Right? Angry Birds. Let's talk about Angry Birds first before I get into the movie itself. I never played the game. I thought about downloading it to my phone, but I never really got into it. I saw this because my son wanted to watch it, and I have this and the sequel, which is over here, only because I bought the first one because I liked it well enough, and I knew if I eventually reviewed that, I'd have to review the sequel. And guess what? For some reason, they're doing a third one 10 years after the first one came out. The other one came out in 2019. So, apparently this had been in development since 2012, and it took them 4 years to get done. And by the time they got it done, I think the craze was pretty much over. They released another mobile game to pair along with it so that it would be relevant, I guess. I don't know that version of the game did any well, because I did not play it. So, I don't know. But you may be asking me, Scotty, why are you doing this? Why for are you reviewing this? Well, I always like to have two 31 on 31s every year. One in the summer or springtime, one in October. And so I came up with the 31 on 31 video game edition, which I will have out on the 31st of August, which is next week. But I wanted to so as I was curating the list yesterday, I decided that all these video game movies, because I have a lot, had to be ones that I own and have reviewed. So there are only two that I own that I haven't reviewed yet. Well, there are more, but if I do the new Tomb Raider, I might still do more video game reviews. They just won't be in here. I might round it. The new Tomb Raider, I have to do the two Angelina Jolie ones, which I have saved. They're streaming on Paramount Plus, but I can watch them without commercials because they were on Flix. I recorded them onto my Spectrum app, so I can watch those without any commercials or ads. So that's a plus. That's why I did that. I'm sure there's other ones I can do. I have Gran Turismo, though I don't know if that's technically counted as a video game movie, because it's never about the video game. It's about someone who played the video game. I don't know. I watched it, so I wouldn't know. But there are others I can do. I have access to some Uwe Boll ones. Not that I want to indulge in those, but for purposes of the 3131 itself, that's why I'm talking about the Angry Birds movies, because those will be in there. So, the movie begins with the joke of running late. We meet our main character, Red, who is the red bird from the logos, voiced by Jason Sudeikis. And for all the issues I have with this movie, Jason Sudeikis is not one of them. Oddly, there's some casting choices that really work for me. This is one of them. Jason Sudeikis as Red works really well. This joke at the beginning does not. He shows up to be a clown at some birthday party. And the guy says, "You're late." He says, "Nuh-uh." He's like, "No, I'm not. This had to be here before noon, and it's before noon." The clock goes ding, because it's noon, and he goes, "Now you're late. The party's over, by the way." Wait. He was told to be there before noon. With, in his mind, meaning the party didn't start till noon. He gets there technically before noon. And then it hits noon, the guy says, "You're late." And the party's already over. Why? Why? Why is it over? Right? And the punctuation on this joke is that he gets angry because he's an angry bird. He throws the cake in the guy's face and gets all angry and ends up upside down in the cracked egg. In the egg, cracks it open, but says, "It's a boy!" And that's only for a joke later. And then that's for a joke later in the movie, like at the end of the movie. But there's also something behind it here, but we'll get it. We then have an opening montage where we cut back and forth between Red's current life, where it's not very good, and as he was a kid, where he was being picked on because of his big eyebrows. I can relate, though I started shaving mine now, so you can't really tell. But someone who has big bushy eyebrows, me, him, and Steve Martin can all relate to big bushy eyebrows. But Eugene Levy as well, you know. Just say. Me, Eugene Levy, Steve Martin, and the Red Bird are gonna start a big eyebrows club. Do I have to grow mine back? Grow mine back. This is not alcohol, I swear. This is just soda. But yeah. But the way that we skip back and forth, he's a kid, he's an adult, he's a kid, he's an adult. But here's the thing. So it goes like this. We have the opening joke that doesn't work. He pushes the cake on him, it says, "Angry Birds." We have this, then it says, "This and this presents." Like, shouldn't that started it? And then it goes through all this, showing him grow up and all his life is now. It's like, it feels like it should have went, "This and this present the Angry Birds movie." We show Red, him growing up, how he's picked on, how he is an adult, and then cut to him running late for a job. Why is it all mishmashed? This is one of two things I agree with Nostalgia Critic on, and that's this one. There's also another joke later that didn't work when I watched it, and when he talked about it, I went, you know what? You're right. It would work better that way. We'll get to it. Yeah. And then we just smash cut to he's on trial with this Judge Bird played by Keegan Michael Key. Another good casting choice. I think he was very good as the judge. Though the one joke they have is that he is just a small, tiny bird on top of another bird to make him look taller. And it's not funny. Even when he pulls it out. There are several times in this where Red will do or say something that he's being logical about and people just ignore it. He's like, "Look! He's a little bird on top of another bird." And they're like, "Eh." Like, that's a big revelation and you just sort of... And if you wanted it to be known, like, oh, they already knew it, have someone say, "Yeah, so?" He does it all the time. But no. You just go, "Eh." So the problem here is that he's on trial because the baby bird that, I guess, hatched, even though he crashed into the egg, the egg logic in this movie makes no sense. He crashed into the egg and it's like, oh, it still was born. That's not how that works. And then later, towards the end, he's chasing another egg that gets cracked. And then later, they're like, oh, it got born. And it's like, but that doesn't make any sense. It's cracked. Then what's inside would die. Right? It's not ready to be born. It's a kid's movie. So, the whole thing is that the newborn baby chicken, or bird, baby bird, now thinks that Red is its father because it crashed into it. Daddy! Despite not being the same color at all, but anyway. So now he's been sentenced to anger management for going off on the actual bird dad, even though he was technically in the right. You shouldn't go off on something like that, but he was technically in the right because he made it there. He followed the orders to a T and got there exactly when he was supposed to. And then they went, no, you're late, and the party's already over. But then why was he told to be there before noon? If he got there before noon, magically it turns noon, you're late, even though he was there before noon, so he wasn't late. And then the party's over. So why was he told to be there before noon? The party was already over. It makes no fucking sense. I'm sorry, fucking sense. And I don't give a pluck. Yes, those are jokes in this movie. They're not funny. At all. So he's sent to anger management, where we meet Yellow, what's his name? Chuck, voiced by Josh Gad. No. See, people have an issue with Josh Gad in general. I have no issue when he's in live action movies. He's Lamb and Soft and Pixels. Besides his little weird dance he does at one of the parties, he's fine. I've seen him in live action, I think he's fine. It's when he voices animated characters that I want to just bring his throat. Because it's clearly these animation directors are telling him to act as fucking stupid as possible. Right? So that's one of the castings I don't care for. Interestingly enough, I actually do like Danny McBride as Bomb. Though Bomb's story in this doesn't make any sense to me. So he got anger issues where if he gets angry, he literally explodes. And then, out of nowhere, they're like, well, he has performance anxiety and he can't blow up. Despite the fact that we see him blow up out of nowhere a few times in the first half of this film. Then later, when it's time for him to actually do it, I can't do it. How? Someone sneezes and you blow up. But you can't actually, right? His backstory is that he went to a surprise party, he yelled, surprise, and he exploded. But he can't bring himself to do it when they actually need it. There's a point where they are flinging the birds into where the bad guys are later in the film. And I go, why not just fling the one explosive one, blow up the whole fucking castle and be over with it? Why are you flinging all the little ones when you could... Why? And then when it's time for them to actually do it, they... But these are his new bumbling sidekicks for this movie. We also meet Terrence, which is another great casting choice because this is voiced by Sean Penn. And the only thing he says is... That's it. They hired Sean Penn to go... That's like hiring Brad Pitt to be in a superhero movie, but he was only playing an invisible person who only shows up once visible. Oh wait, they did that in Deadpool 2. That's also a great casting. I like that. It's like they're like, this is... I didn't even know that until I watched Chris Tuckman's review. Like, this is was voiced by Sean Penn. I'm like, bullshit. And then I looked it up. Academy Award winner Sean Penn plays a cartoon bird that goes... There's at one point when he sings, I don't think that's Sean Penn that sings that part. So maybe he does. I don't know. But really? You gotta pay good money, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Does he come back for the second one? Well, Nolan North does Terrence in the second one, playing Sean Penn. They couldn't convince him to come back. They couldn't give him enough money. Anyway. So, Red is an outcast. He lives on a house that's out away from Bird Island. This is where we get the arrival of the pigs. Another great casting choice. Bill Hader as Leonard, or King Leonard, as we find out later, leader of the pigs. I think he's really good in this. He comes off just enough to make you think, this guy, he's just well-meaning, and then there's something behind him. This is where we get the running joke that they keep damaging Red's house. It's funny the first time, and of course they keep doing it, so it's not funny anymore. When are people going to learn that constant repeating comedy is not funny? Also, prolonging comedy is not funny. We'll get to it. So, immediately, Red has reservations. And I gotta point out, once again, he has a point. These people come from nowhere. Nowhere. You know, right? From out of nowhere, excuse me. And they're like, hey, we want to be friends. And the birds are just like, okay. They don't question at all their motives or why they're there or why they're so nice. No. This turn out, Red is right. I also want to point out that at the trial, the mayor says a joke that's not funny. Why don't birds fly? Because we have no other place to go. And I'm just like, you don't want to explore anywhere else? Right? And that's kind of my problem. I get it. The whole setup has to be so they can fling them in the slingshot. So they can't actually fly. But it doesn't really make any sense to have an island of birds that don't fly other than, well, you have to fling them later. Because that's how Angry Birds works. That's how the game works. Yeah. But it still doesn't make any sense. They're birds. I know there are some birds that don't fly. Chickens, turkeys, penguins. I get it. But these are all regular looking birds. They're not like chickens or anything. They all look like normal birds. They should be able to fly. They don't. And I know they're flightless birds. I just named them off. But still. They're like the dodos. They live on an island out of nowhere. No one knows they're there. Except for the ones that find them anyway. Yeah. Leonard. And Leonard says that he is, of course they ignore Red, that he and Ross are the only ones that are there. And then all of a sudden, there are two more. He's like, wait, I thought you said you're only two. There's two more? And again, it tells people and the judge like, eh. And then later, Red and the other two explore the ship, find a whole load of pigs there. And when he presents this to them, they're like, we just have more friends. It's like, no. Why aren't you questioning this? They lied to you. And you have to ignore it for this plot to continue. Because if they were to ask questions, the plot wouldn't continue the way the writers want it to go. Because then there'd be a conflict. A conflict they would need to have a resolution to. And they wouldn't be able to resolve it the way they want to. So instead, Red is once again shunned for this. And I'm at least happy that his two friends take his side with this and not just, because they explore and they find out. They decide we have to recruit a Mighty Eagle. Who's the Mighty Eagle, you may ask? Well, that's a good question, because we don't know anything about the Mighty Eagle until they happen to bump into the statue and go, yes, the Mighty Eagle, the only bird that ever flew. We need him. Why weren't we given any backstory on this character till now? Because I'm watching this, and as they go up there, I realize, wait a minute. We don't know anything about this Mighty Eagle, because they're like, because when he goes to talk to him, he's like, since you're the only bird that can fly. I'm like, yeah, he is the only bird. Wait. We don't know anything about Mighty Eagle. He was not mentioned before they bumped into the statue. The statue was just there. He's not brought up at all. Mighty Eagle is voiced by Pete Dinklage. Which, despite my problems with Pete Dinklage as a person, I think he's great casting. He plays it perfectly. But it's when we get there, first of all, this is where I'm just sort of... Because, again, I have to think that the writers just don't know what kids want. It's the same problem I have with the SpongeBob movies. They have to do stupid shit because we have to keep kids' attention spans, so you have to have them do, even though it doesn't make sense to the plot for the freaking spoiler alert, by the way, because that video isn't out yet. For the Flying Dutchman to be like, with SpongeBob when he's supposed to be the villain. And here, they decide, I wonder what the Mighty Eagle's call sounds like. So it's an excuse for all of them to make a bunch of stupid fucking noises. And for Josh Gad to be fucking annoying. And then they finally get up there, and if you think that wasn't funny, wait till we get to this joke, because the joke doesn't work. It would work better if they did better, but they're like, oh, it's this big lake of whatever it is, and they get in, and there's slow motion of them just drinking the water, and they spit it back and forth between each other's mouths for some reason, and it's like, why did we do slow motion? And then I remembered the punchline to this. I'm like, oh, that's right, because... No, wait. Wait, I remember it. I get it. I get why this is gross. Because I've seen the movie before and I know where it goes. But first-time viewers wouldn't understand this. They wouldn't get this because it's out of order. Like the opening to this movie. Because then the joke is that the Mighty Eagle wakes up, he walks out, he stretches, and he takes a piss right into the lake. Now imagine, and again I'm taking this from Nostalgia Critic, imagine he comes out, takes a piss, as they're swimming around in it. Red's the only one that notices because he's the only one that has a fucking brain in this movie and tries to tell them what's going on before they realize it. Instead, they swim around there in slow motion, which doesn't make any sense because the audiences won't know, unless it's the second time you're watching this, that there was pissed in. And then he pisses in, and all we get is just reactions like, oh, like, yeah, but wouldn't it be better if it was when they were drinking the water? And, yeah. There's other jokes that also don't work. There's a running joke where one of the birds wants to get a hug, right? And people keep walking by like, nope. And you know that by the end of the movie, he's going to get a hug. Which he does. And there's other jokes. There's one where when he confronts them and they have like plungers. One of the pigs has plungers stuck here. So they stick another one to the side and he just goes, for the kids! Because boobs. And that's my problem, is that joke was for the adults watching. And then they have the balls to say, well, actually, also, we need something for the kids. And kids aren't smart as adults, so all we get is, and piss jokes. So they try to recruit the Mighty Eagle, and he's a fat ass, so no, he's not going to do it. He refuses to. And then makes this weird face when Red decides, we're going to go do it. And there's this look on his face like, it's what I planned. But it doesn't... But then later when he decides to come to the rescue, it doesn't seem like this was a part of the plan until he then comes across... I don't know, it just feels like... Unless he was... I don't know. So through the telescope thing and they got up there, they realize that the pigs are stealing the eggs. And that's what this party they were going to have is done as a distraction. And, of course, because we're barely over halfway through the movie, they don't succeed in saving the eggs. Even though they should have got there. It takes them way too long to get down to the city. They're not able to get anyone to help. They have to fail. So they can go save them later. And now they're like, well, Mr. Red, we're sorry. Yeah, you'd listen to him in the first place, there wouldn't be this problem. And they wouldn't have a movie either. And that's what I kind of hate, is that they have to write it where one character is obviously right, and if they listen to that character, they wouldn't have a movie. But if you made them all stupid and all believe this, then there wouldn't be a plot hole, because you could say, well, if they just listen to him, they wouldn't be in this problem. They wouldn't have this problem. But then if they were all complicit and all stupid, and I'm watching this, I don't remember everything. I didn't remember everything. So I'm watching, are they going to blame him again because he didn't save it? No, they apologized to him and they said, we need to figure out a way to save it. And he goes, we need someone who knows how to steal kids. Does anyone know how to steal kids? And again, he looks at the hug one and goes, "You're like, you might know. You look like you might know." What is that joke? It's because he wants a hug? Come on, you can't do a joke of he wants a hug and then finally getting it and be like, but is he also a No, I don't know. So the plan is to get to the island, so they construct a raft that wouldn't work because it's made of boxes full of TNT. Now, am I to assume they're empty boxes? Because to me, it didn't seem like it, but if they were full of TNT, they wouldn't float. So I'm assuming they're empty boxes that they make it out of. And it has the slingshot on top. So they get to the island, they hook up the slingshot, and they start flinging. And you have the teacher, not teacher, the anger management therapist lady get flung, and she can shoot these eggs out of her butt that explode. And all we get, we did not know she could do this before, and all we get is Red looking at the camera, the screen, and going, "Wow, my teacher could shoot fireballs out of her butt." I don't know. What was that joke? I want to go back because the one joke that is funny is like we find out what happened, why they're there, explosions. Right? Though I feel like Bomb shouldn't be there because they scared him and he exploded, and they think that's not anger. I don't know. But Terrence's excuse, we never find out what it is. It only goes in with, and then police lights flash in front of him. We never find out what it is. That's a clever joke. So they start flinging. And again, I'm watching this going, why not fling the one big explosive guy that could blow up the whole thing? Because they're flinging little ones. They're crashing the windows. They're doing little things. And I'm just like, why not just fling Bomb? He explodes. They're all incapacitated. To the eggs back. You leave. Because we need to stretch this out as much as we can, apparently. Even so, Bomb then has performance anxiety. It cannot explode anymore, despite someone sneezed earlier and he exploded. Now he just can't do it. Earlier he was going to do it to save them and they poured water on him. That's a good deterrent. So, they poured water on him, cool. But now it's like, no, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it. There's no reason why he can't do it. They just need to prolong this out. And it's one thing if... Now, again, this is backwards, and this is my thing, because Nostalgic didn't bring it up. Nostalgic Critic didn't bring this up, but I just thought of this. What if he has, like, okay, we're going to fling you, and we're going to, even if he doesn't explode, he can make a big dent, but, like, we're going to fling you, and you can explode and blow it all up, and he's like, I can't do it, I can't do it. Like Hulk in Infinity War. He just can't do it. So then they had to start flinging the smaller people over. Or maybe the teacher's like, I can do it. She-Hob said, fling and has the fireball out of her butt. And that's when you can go, wow, my teacher could have, my teacher can make fireballs come out of her butt. Who knew? Then that joke would work. Then it doesn't. Kind of work. No, Red eventually gets in with the other two getting there. Bomb doesn't explode, but they get in there. They save the eggs, except for one that gets away because they're trying to pull it away from the fat. They're going to eat the eggs, by the way. That's why they wanted them. One gets away, so Red decides to go back and save it. And then Bomb decides, I can explode now, and he does. Blowing up the entire... No, that's not what happens. He explodes, and it blows up a part of it. But what happens is, we have the confrontation between Red and Leonard, wherein he tricks Leonard into accidentally lighting the dynamite on fire. However, again, this is backwards. Because Red has the idea to trick him by lighting the dynamite. By the way, he lands and goes, oh, this is dynamite. That's earlier he does that. So lighting the dynamite and hiding. But it's after Red has this idea to trick him by calling him names and stuff that he picks up the candle. He didn't have the candle in his hand when he started doing this plan. So he didn't know that Leonard was going to grab the candle. So how did he know? How did he expect his plan to work? Ooh, he's backwards. He's just lucky he picked up the candle and starts cooking the thing. And it doesn't work, and then he's able to grab the egg, get into this big cauldron thing, and be safe from the explosion. The light blows up too, but he's fine, and he's got the egg, and they didn't think he died, but he's got the egg, and there's 3. Because he got all the eggs back except for one family. He doesn't have one, and there's 3 little ones in there, and they save the day. And this is where that joke from earlier comes in, because I think he's dead, and it's the little chick that was hatched when he crashed into the end. He goes, "Daddy!" And they go, "Huh?" And he's fine. He's respected. He gets his house back. Mighty Eagle shows up to save the day. And in the worst joke of the movie, for some fucking reason, they've erected another statue for Mighty Eagle and claim him the one who saved the day. Even though everyone could plainly fucking see Brett was the one that saved the day. But he's like, "Oh, it was my plan because I tricked you. Yes. It was my plan the whole time to get you guys to be brave and save the day." And they bought that. And so now he's also praised. I don't know. And by the way, I skipped them. But there are several dance scenes in this movie for some reason. For the soundtrack to be there. And the only song really worth listening in a soundtrack is Friends by Blake Shelton. And it's during a montage early in the film. Listen to that one. Oh, and the Limp Bizkit cover of Behind Blue Eyes is also pretty good. But turns out it's not bad, but the movie ends with another dance party. And we also have the pig, Leonard, saying that he's going to concoct another plan. Though I've already read up what the second one is, and I guess that has nothing to do with it, but the pigs can somehow also hear the music that Mighty Eagle is playing, despite them being on a totally different fucking island that they had to sail to, that obviously is far away, because the people from that island, from the Bird Island, never knew it fucking existed before the pigs showed up. If it's that far away, they shouldn't be able to hear the music to do the dance party too. I'm just saying. There you have it. Mighty Birds movie. It's a low middle of the road. It's not quite stuck in the mud. But it's a middle of the road for sure. A low middle of the road for sure. It's almost there. But I can tolerate it. I just wish animation could be more smart. And not think, because it's animation and it's for kids, they have to do stupid stuff. Because it was about the point when they started making the bird noise on the mountain that I went, why? Why? There's goofy stuff throughout the movie. This, to me, as I compared it to that scene from the new SpongeBob movie, it's like, and then my problem with SpongeBob movies as a whole is that you think because you are making movies for kids, you have to have a scene of characters doing stupid shit like this. Because you think that kids today, and this includes my kid, because at this point, this was when my kid was a kid, that they don't have the capacity for actual writing, that all they need is stupid stuff. Look at the colors. One of the big things I have a problem with Josh Gad's character is that his character, he has a super speed, which is fine, but that's just an excuse for him to go, hey, look at me, to keep the kids entertained and their eyes on the screen. Because that's what it's designed for. And I get it for little kids like toddlers and stuff. Yes, that's gonna... But that doesn't mean that you need to write the movie just for little kids. What about those that are older, like 10-year-olds, that will watch this? Right? Kids of all ages. You know, what about the adults that have to sit with their kids and watch it because they saw it on streaming and had to sit and watch it? Right? And didn't know better at the time because he wasn't the master movie reviewer as he is now. Okay? I'm just saying. Yeah. So yeah, it's a low middle of the road for sure. I hope the second one is better. We'll see. Though, from what I read of the plot, I don't know if I'm on board. Because it feels like, what was the point of the first one? We'll see how it goes. Maybe they'll surprise me. We'll see. And yes, there's only 2, so it's a twofer. The third one's coming out later this year. I get that done too, I guess. But yeah. So, what are your thoughts on the Angry Birds movie? Look how so much you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Scott, and I'll see you in the next one.